All right, so this time we're going to paint the inside and the interior section of the doors. 72 and back, all the A bodies, they were painted on the inside, okay? No plastic panel there. Same thing with this one. It's going to really highlight this area. And this area up here, door panel will cover it here. It'll break off at this line. And then, finally, to cap that all off, the two rear sail panels and the two headliner overhead, over your shoulder panels, whatever you want to call those. It's coming up next. And, well, we're getting ready to coat the inside of these doors with the dark interior green, the F7 green. And I had some issues, if some of you recall. There was a big crack on this one. It was completely split, so we had to grind it back, weld it back together. Did a little bit of filler work with fiberglass and some lightweight filler. Sanded. Did that a couple times, and then kind of lightly sanded everything else so it'll be even. We need to put some primer on that, some epoxy. Same exact thing here, except there was no crack. It was just kind of uneven right there. So smooth that out. So the whole bit that has any bare metal, we're just gonna spot prime it, and then we can mask the rest of this off really good and do our dark green in there. Actually, I should probably mask it off now so it doesn't get any overspray on it. We already taped this one. This is your brake line where the weather strip runs here. So everything out here needs to be masked off. Everything on the inside, it's okay to get what we're about to put on. Well, several hours later, after a little bit of a problem, we do have our F7 green on the inside of these doors. Pretty happy with it. I did have a little bit of a debacle to deal with earlier. And what happened was, for some reason we got some fish eyes in the paint. I don't know if it was in the gun, the material, or somehow in the compressor, and the filters weren't catching it. And then there was just an unevenness in the metallic. So I just I let it bake out here in the sun for a couple hours around that time, and went over it with a Scotch-Brite pad, and then decided we'll just mix up whatever paint we got left, shoot it again, change the air pressure a little bit, and we fixed that problem. So everything looks pretty even. I know it's a little dark right here, but this is a good example. You saw tiger striping in here. It's pretty much gone now. So in reality, we could actually assemble this door back once it cures. Okay, we're on to a wonderful Saturday morning, and we're gonna start putting this door together. You probably want to do first things first. The easier thing to do is to go ahead and get a latch put in there, because it's going to be obstructed by all the other gadgets and rails and stuff in there. So I went ahead and took this one. I did take it to the sandblaster because we had some rust going on pretty good around here. Looked ugly and a lot of gunk. So went through the sandblaster, or the media blaster with the glass bead. Cleaned it up really good. I soaked it in our bucket over here. I used some Zep, or you can use Super Clean, or Purple Power, or whatever. High concentration. Just scrub it down really good inside out with a big bristle brush, and then I rinsed it out, then blew it out with air, so we are clean. If you can get to it, make sure you have the rubber piece here. This one's kind of beat up, but I think we're going to use it at least for now. If it poses any problems later, I guess we'll have to pull it out. But I don't even know if they make this thing. It's pretty soft though, so we're going to go with it. We'll re-grease everything up, but I do want to at least put some paint on it, like some cast iron or like a silver color, and especially in this area, and then the screws, because those will show right here. Okay, and I did manage to slip some masking tape in there. This is the nylon block. I want that to be paint free so that it can accept you know, the door striker as it should, because it's like a slicker surface, so it'll be acceptive of that. And I did take pictures of all this. It's always good that, even if you think you know where everything is, take pictures of where all the rods and all that sort of thing is. That way you'll know, you'll have a reference. Even if your other side does not have all that in place, you go to check and like, oh, now I got to go find a service manual. If you don't have a service manual, that's the thing to do. I like to do it anyway since it's just right there.
Now is a great time to like and subscribe.
That was just to protect that lower section from me scuffing it up. So that's the basics of putting one of these earlier doors together. I'm talking 72 and back. If you all are doing a 73 and you need help with any of this, putting it back together, which way to go, let me know. I do have a 73 door that is complete with all the stuff in it. I'll be glad to take it apart, put it back together, show you all the ins and outs of those. And if we have a door for the 73 or 74 through 76, they are different. They kind of run on a post. I don't have one of those here with me. They're pretty simple though. But if you do really need to see how one of those go together and you're not having any luck finding things, let me know. We'll try to put something together for you. But this 72 door, I've done both of them. And the only thing left is put the glass in it, really. And then, you know, there are felts and that sort of thing. But really, we're not at that point yet. We're not at the point to put our door handle, our lock, and that stuff's best to put in before you put the glass in. Okay, so we're going to leave the glass out right now. But some of the hardware is this piece that has these felts and these little slides on it. You have some other like position finders here, like the nylon with the screws, and you have this piece with the nylon spinner on it. And there's a couple other little items. So we're going to make sure to get that together soon. And all I can tell you, if you really need to see that, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow along. We've come a long way with this car, so you'll see that stuff come into place. The nameplate here, make sure that you have everything adjusted up in these areas before you go popping it on, okay? Otherwise you have to pry it back off. That's why we showed you using the plastic tool and some tape around it. So that's why I stuck it under so we could show you that that's how it comes out. There's two posts, okay? Same thing with a little rubber cap down here. Don't lose that if you have to take it out. I'm surprised we actually have them in this car, so looks like something that come out kind of easy. But that's it for the doors right now. Like I said, windows are going to come later, and we got some other stuff to do on the car itself. We're going to do some more jamming, getting some fiberglass sanded down, try to get it ready to set it down. But we still have to get some suspension components, front and back, and we can get moving with that. When that's down, we can put the doors on, door hinges, all that good stuff. A couple things we'll do in the meantime, and you can look forward to this coming up, maybe the next episode, is we're going to get into the steering column. We've got some blasting to do on it. We have to deal with the shafts on there. One of them's bad, one of them's good, but I have another steering column that it's vice versa. So we're gonna have to do some combining, and it's safety issues there. We wanna make sure we do that right. So if you're interested in that, in our 72 Duster, and all that encapsulates this Mopar stuff, like I said, like and subscribe. See you next time.